Yeah, buddy, dreams don't beg, they don't whisper, and they sure as hell don't wait. Dreams demand blood, your sweat, your grind, your sacrifice. If you want it, you got to pay the price in full. No discounts, no shortcuts, heavy weight, heavy cost, but the glory, man, that's worth every drop. Sacrifice is the currency of dreams, and there's no way around it. Here, every single person who has ever achieved something remarkable in this world has paid a price, and often the price is heavier than they ever imagined. And when they started, we live in a culture that loves to talk about success, right here, about glory, about standing on the stage with the spotlight on you and the crowd chanting your name, but very few talk about the blood, sweat, tears, and countless lonely nights it takes to even get close to that stage, right here. Dreams are expensive and they never go on sale. The moment you say you want something big, life immediately begins testing if you're willing to pay for it in full. That test doesn't come once, it comes daily, sometimes hourly, and the payment is made with sacrifice. Sacrifice of comfort, sacrifice of sleep, sacrifice of pleasures, right here, sacrifice of things that feel good in the short term but poison your ability to reach the long-term vision you claim to chase. Think about the strongest people you've ever admired, whether it's in sports, business, art, right here, or even in the grind everyday life. Their stories are carved in sacrifice. They gave up weekends to work. They gave up nights out to practice. They gave up ease to train, right here. They gave up their old lives to chase something higher. Nothing about it was accidental. Nobody stumbled into greatness. They bled for it. They gave up parts of themselves for it. And in the process, they learned what it really means to want something. Dreams don't respond to wishes. They respond to sacrifices. They don't care about what you say you want. They care about what you're willing to give up to get them. Right here, there's this myth that talent's enough, that if you're naturally gifted, things will line up for you. That's a lie. Talent can open the door, but only sacrifice can keep it open long enough for you to walk through. Here, people who rely on talent without sacrifice always fade. The ones who last are the ones who were willing to pay the toll again and again, even when it hurt, even when nobody was clapping, even when the results were invisible. Right here, sacrifice is lonely because most people don't understand it. When you're sacrificing, you're missing out on what looks like fun. You're saying no to things that everybody else is saying yes to, right here. And it can feel like you're the crazy one. But that's the exact sign you're on the right path. Sacrifice is supposed to separate the few from the many, the driven from the casual, the warriors from the spectators. Right here, dreams test you by asking questions like, will you get up at 5 a.m. when your body screams to stay in bed? Will you stay in the gym another 2 hours when your friends are already out celebrating? Will you invest money into your vision instead of wasting it on distractions? Will you risk looking foolish to chase something no one else believes in? These are the sacrifices that build the backbone of success. Right here, each time you choose sacrifice, you make a deposit in the account of your dream. Each time you choose comfort, you make a withdrawal. Most people keep withdrawing until they're broke, right here, then wonder why their dream died before it even started. But those who sacrifice keep depositing, and eventually the account grows so large that the dream pays out in reality. Right here, sacrifice is also brutal because it often takes the form of failure. You'll sacrifice your pride when you fall flat. You'll sacrifice your ego when you get rejected. When doors slam in your face, here, when your efforts don't produce the results you imagine. It's easy to sacrifice in theory, but when it hurts, when it's humiliating, when it feels unfair, that's when most people walk away. Right here. But dreams don't care about your feelings, they only care about your resilience. Sacrifice means staying in the game when the scoreboard is ugly, when the crowd is silent, when your own mind whispers doubt. Right here, sacrifice means choosing to keep bleeding for your goal, because deep down you know that every drop of struggle is feeding the roots of something greater. Look at the discipline of legendary athletes, bodybuilders, fighters, entrepreneurs. Ronnie Coleman himself didn't become 8-time Mr. Olympia by hoping or by relying on genetics alone. He sacrificed his body, his health, his social life, right here, and even his future comfort just to live the dream he chose. His bones broke, his joints gave out, but he never let go of the grind because sacrifice was the only language his dream understood. Here, sacrifice is brutal because it's not a one-time payment. You don't pay once and then coast forever. You pay daily in sweat, in choices, discipline. Some days it feels like the debt is paid, but then tomorrow comes, hey, and the dream demands more. It will keep demanding until it's satisfied, and even then, it asks you to guard what you built with the same level of sacrifice. People often ask, hey, is it worth it? That's the wrong question. The right question is, am I willing to pay the price? Because if you're not, the dream will slip from your hands and land in the lap of someone who is. The dream doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care about your past. It doesn't care about your excuses. It only cares about sacrifice. The world is filled with dreamers, but only a handful of sacrificers. That's why so few make it, and so many settle. Sacrifice is what makes the difference between a wish and a destiny. And here's the hard truth: the bigger the dream, the higher the sacrifice. Right here, a small dream requires small effort. A big dream requires your blood. That's why the speech says dreams don't beg, they demand blood, because they won't ask politely. Right here, they'll demand you rip out everything that makes you soft, everything that holds you back, everything that gives you the illusion of safety. Sacrifice strips you down until only the strongest version of you remains. Right here, the version capable of carrying the weight of that dream. Without sacrifice, you stay weak, you stay ordinary, you stay one of the many who talk but never do. With sacrifice, you transform, you harden, you grow into the type of person whose reality reflects what others only fantasize about. Sacrifice means choosing hunger over satisfaction, choosing the grind over relaxation, choosing discipline over indulgence. Right here, it's the unseen hours, the private battles, the internal wars that nobody claps for. It's walking into the gym when your body aches, studying when your eyes burn, working when your spirit feels crushed. Here, practicing when the world has already gone to sleep. Sacrifice looks crazy to who don't understand, but to the dream, it looks like proof. Proof that you're serious. Proof that you're worthy. Proof that you're not just another voice shouting into the void of mediocrity. The truth is, sacrifice doesn't just buy your dream. It changes you. It builds resilience, character, and power. It teaches you to endure, to focus, to prioritize. It teaches you that comfort is the enemy and pain is the ally. Every time you sacrifice, you sharpen yourself into a weapon. The more you give up, the more unstoppable you become. Here, most people want to win without losing anything, but the greats understand you have to lose almost everything to gain what really matters. Sacrifice is the silent contract between you and your dream. Hang right here, sign not with ink but with sweat and blood. Discipline outlasts motivation because motivation is fragile, temporary, and unreliable. Motivation is like a spark. It burns bright in the beginning. It feels exciting. It gives you energy, but it fades quickly. One bad day, one setback, one mood swing, and motivation disappears. Discipline is different. Discipline is the fire that stays lit no matter the conditions. Here, it's the commitment to act even when you don't feel like it, even when everything in your mind is screaming for comfort, even when every excuse sounds reasonable. The truth is, anyone can act when they're motivated. Right here, that's easy. But the ones who actually achieve greatness are the ones who act when motivation is gone. Discipline is what separates a dreamer from a door, because motivation will get you started right here, but discipline keeps you going. Most people live their entire lives chasing motivation, waiting for that feeling, waiting for inspiration, waiting for the right moment. They scroll through quotes, watch speeches, right here, listen to songs, and for a short time they feel powerful. But then Monday comes, reality hits, problems stack up, and the spark dies. Discipline doesn't need inspiration because discipline is built on choice, not feeling. Say, right here, discipline says, I don't care how I feel. I don't care what the circumstances are. I don't care about excuses. I will do what I said I would do. That mindset is what sustains progress over years, not days. Here, if you depend on motivation, you will quit. If you depend on discipline, you will endure. Discipline is about training the mind to obey the mission instead of the mood. The body will beg for rest. Right here, the mind will beg for distraction. The world will offer comfort. But discipline keeps you locked on the path. Discipline is why a bodybuilder trains when the gym is empty, why a fighter practices when nobody is watching, why an entrepreneur works through the night while everyone else is partying. Discipline is no applause, no instant reward, no instant gratification. It is slow, grinding, repetitive work. Right here, that's why most people fail, because it doesn't feel good in the moment. Motivation feels good, discipline feels heavy. But it's the heaviness of discipline that builds strength, while the emptiness of motivation was nothing but excuses. The greatest champions, the legends, the names carved into history books, they weren't motivated all the time. In fact, here, most of the time they weren't motivated at all. They were tired, sore, stressed, beaten down, but they had discipline, they had routines that didn't break, habits that didn't bend, standards that didn't lower. That's why discipline is more powerful than motivation. Motivation is a wave, discipline is the ocean. Waves rise and fall, but the ocean remains. If you build your life on motivation, you rise and fall with it. Right here, if you build it on discipline, you keep moving forward no matter what. Discipline is also the purest form of self-respect. When you set a goal and stay committed, even when you don't feel like it, right here, you're proving to yourself that your word means something. Motivation is external. It depends on how you feel in the moment. Discipline is internal. It's a promise you keep to yourself. Right here, every time you follow through on that promise, you strengthen your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who quits, and you start seeing yourself as someone who endures. That identity shift is powerful. Right here, because when you believe you are disciplined, quitting stops being an option. Motivation can convince you for a day, but discipline changes who you are. People always say, I just need more motivation. No, you don't. What you need is structure, consistency, and discipline. Motivation is not the key to success. It's the most overrated concept in the world of self-improvement. Right here, the key is to design your life in a way that forces discipline. Build habits, create systems, hold yourself accountable. When you're disciplined, you don't rely on how you feel because feelings are liars. Feelings tell you to quit, to stay comfortable, to give up when things get hard. Discipline silences those lies. Discipline says, right here, do it anyway. That's why disciplined people achieve things that motivated people only dream about. Discipline is not glamorous. It doesn't look good on social media. It's not about the big moments, the highlights right here, the applause. It's about the daily grind that nobody sees. It's waking up early when you want to sleep in. It's eating clean when junk food is right in front of you. It's studying when your brain wants to shut down. Right here, it's showing up again and again, not because you're motivated, but because you made a commitment. Over time, that commitment compounds. Small disciplined actions stack up into massive results. Motivation can't do that because motivation dies before consistency is built. Discipline doesn't die, it multiplies. When people ask successful athletes or entrepreneurs how they stay motivated, the truth is they don't. Right here, they laugh at the question because they know the secret. It's never about motivation. It's always about discipline. Motivation gets you in the door, but discipline keeps you in the room. Motivation starts the journey. Discipline carries you across the finish line. Motivation is about emotion. Discipline is about decision. Motivation is short-term hype. Discipline is long-term strategy. Motivation is the voice that says, right here, I feel like it. Discipline is the voice that says, do it anyway. The reality is discipline is painful. It hurts to deny yourself comfort. It hurts to keep going when you're exhausted. Right here, it hurts to push through when the results aren't showing up yet. But that pain is the exact reason discipline works. Pain is the filter that separates those who are serious from those who are not. Right here, if you're willing to endure the pain of discipline, you earn the right to taste the reward. If you're only willing to follow motivation, you'll never make it past the first storm. Discipline outlasts motivation because storms always come, and when they hit, motivation runs. Discipline doesn't. Discipline digs its feet into the ground and says, right here, we'll keep going. Think about the greats who left a legacy. They were not more motivated than others. They were more disciplined. Michael Jordan didn't train because he was motivated every day. He trained because he was disciplined. Kobe Bryant didn't practice at 4 a.m. because he felt like it. He did it because discipline demanded it. Here, Ronnie Coleman didn't lift those insane weights just because he was motivated. He lifted them because discipline was his default. These people understood that motivation cannot carry you to the highest levels. Only discipline can. Motivation is an emotion, and emotions change like the wind. Discipline is a decision, and decisions carve destiny. That's why people who rely on motivation burn out. They get hyped up. They start strong right here. But the moment life punches them, they stop. People with discipline don't care about punches. They take the hit and keep moving. They understand that consistency beats intensity every time. Right here, you don't need to be motivated for 1,000 days in a row. You need to be disciplined for 1,000 days in a row. That's how records are broken, how books are written, how empires are built, how champions are crowned. Here, the secret nobody wants to admit is that motivation is fun, but discipline is boring. Motivation gives you adrenaline. Discipline gives you routine. Motivation is flashy. Discipline is invisible. But the invisible work is what builds the visible results. Every rep, every page, every step, every hour stacked with discipline becomes the foundation of greatness. That's why when the spotlight finally hits, right here, people call it talent or luck, when in reality it was discipline all along. They didn't see the years of consistency. They didn't see the countless days without motivation. They didn't see the grind right here. They only saw the outcome. Discipline is what makes you unstoppable. It's the muscle you train by doing what you said you do, no matter how you feel. Each time you do it, you grow stronger. Right here, each time you show up without motivation, you prove to yourself that your commitment is real. Discipline builds momentum, and momentum is power. Once you're in motion, discipline keeps you in motion. Motivation might start the fire, but discipline keeps throwing wood on it day after day, year after year. Eventually, that fire becomes unshakable, unstoppable, undeniable. Right here, pain is proof you're on the right path because nothing of real value comes without resistance, struggle, and discomfort. Every time you push your body, your mind, or your spirit beyond what feels easy, right here, pain shows up as the messenger that you're moving past limits. If it doesn't hurt, it isn't growth. If it doesn't burn, it isn't transformation. Pain is the language of progress. Right here, it's the body telling you that the muscles are tearing so they can rebuild stronger. It's the mind telling you that the old habits are breaking so new ones can form. It's life testing how badly you really want what you say you want. People fear pain because it feels uncomfortable, but that very discomfort is the evidence that you're no longer standing still. Standing still is painless. Right here, growth is painful. And the difference between winners and quitters is that winners learn to embrace pain as part of the journey, while quitters treat it as a stop sign. Pain comes in many forms. Right here, there's the physical pain of pushing through exhaustion, of grinding through long hours, of tearing yourself down in training so that you can rise stronger. There's the emotional pain of rejection, failure, and setbacks. Here, there's the mental pain of doubt, of battling your own excuses, of forcing yourself to stay disciplined when your mind screams for comfort. Every one of these forms of pain is proof that you're not stuck in mediocrity. Here, mediocrity is painless because it avoids effort, avoids risk, avoids sacrifice. Pain only shows up when you dare to climb, when you step out of the comfort zone and into the arena where dreams are built. Here, the fact that you're hurting is the clearest sign that you're doing what most people never will. Pain is also the great equalizer. Talent, resources, and advantages can make the beginning of the journey easier. But sooner or later, pain comes for everyone. The athlete with genetics, the entrepreneur with money, the artist with natural skill. None of them escape the grind. Eventually, right here, they face the same pain as the person who started with nothing. That's where true character is revealed. Pain strips away excuses. When you're tired, when you're beaten, when nothing is working, right here, the only thing left is your will to keep going. That's why pain is proof of progress. Without it, you're still in the shallow waters where anyone can survive. With it, hey, you've entered the deep end where only the committed endure. Pain is also the most honest teacher. Success can lie to you, make you complacent, make you think you're invincible. Pain never lies. Right here, pain tells you exactly where your weaknesses are. It exposes the parts of your body that aren't strong enough, the habits in your life that are holding you back, the cracks in your mindset that need to be fixed. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your coach. It points out the areas that demand attention. Every time you feel it, instead of running, you should be asking, what is this trying to teach me? Because every lesson hidden in pain is the key to the next level of growth. Without pain, you stay blind to your weaknesses, and blind people never win in the long run. Here, think about training. When you lift heavy weights, the pain of the last reps is what tears down the muscle fibers. Those micro tears are literally the proof that the muscle is being rebuilt to be stronger and bigger. Hey, without the pain, there is no growth. You can't cheat the process. The same is true for life. Every painful moment is a tear in your old self, making room for a stronger, wiser, sharper version of you to be built. Right here, people who avoid pain avoid growth, and people who embrace pain embrace transformation. That's why pain is never wasted. It's always a sign that you're being broken down in order to rise back stronger. Pain is the toll gate on the road to your dream. You can't bypass it. You can't trick it. You can't bribe it. You either pay in pain or you don't pass at all. Every champion has scars. Right here, every success story has chapters of struggle. Every empire has foundations built on suffering. The glory you see is always standing on top of invisible pain that the world never witnessed. The training no one saw, right here, the sleepless nights, the failures, the moments of doubt, the times they were on the edge of quitting but didn't. All of his pain and all of it is proof. Proof that they paid the price. Right here, proof that they earned the right to stand where they are. Pain is also the filter that separates desire from commitment. Everyone says they want success, but only a few are willing to hurt for it. Pain is the line in the sand. The moment things get difficult, people reveal who they really are. Some walk away, some complain, some lower their goals. But those who lean into pain, who see it as part of the process, those are the ones who make it. Because they understand that dreams don't come to the comfortable, they come to the relentless. Comfort is easy, pain is hard. And that's why pain is proof. Here, proof that you stepped onto the hard road that leads to extraordinary results. Pain also teaches patience. Progress doesn't come instantly, and pain forces you to slow down, endure, and trust the process. It teaches humility. It teaches humility because you can't fake your way through it. You can post motivation online, you can talk about your goals, but when the pain hits, your words mean nothing. Only action counts. Here, pain strips away all the noise and forces you to confront your true self. Are you willing to endure? Are you willing to suffer? Are you willing to keep showing up even when it hurts? Pain asks those questions right here, and your answers define your destiny. The beauty of pain is that it eventually transforms into strength. The very thing that once felt unbearable becomes the foundation of resilience. The workouts that used to destroy you become warm-ups. The challenges that used to scare you become routine. The failures that used to break you become lessons. Right here, pain builds toughness by stretching your threshold further and further. What hurt yesterday doesn't hurt today, and what hurts today won't hurt tomorrow. That's how you evolve. That's how you outgrow your limits. Without pain, there is no evolution. Without pain, there is no proof that you move beyond who you were. Most people try to escape pain. They medicate, avoid it, or run from it. But the truth is, here pain will find you no matter what. If you run from the pain of discipline, you'll suffer the pain of regret. If you avoid the pain of hard work, you'll suffer the pain of failure. If you dodge the pain of sacrifice, you'll suffer the pain of mediocrity. Pain is unavoidable, but at least the pain of growth leads to power, while the pain of avoidance leads to weakness. So when you feel pain on the path to your dreams, here, that's not a sign to quit. That's proof you're paying the right price. Proof you're going in the right direction. Proof you're alive and fighting for something greater than yourself. Right here, pain is the one constant you can trust. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care about your background. It doesn't play favorites. It shows up for everyone who dares to chase something bigger than comfort. And when it does, you have a choice: run from it and stay small, or embrace it and rise. Every tear, every ache, every setback, every sleepless night is the evidence that you're on the battlefield right here, not sitting on the sidelines. And the battlefield is the only place where victories are earned, where dreams are forged, where legacies are born.